This podcast is not affiliated or endorsed by anyone at Zaum Studio or anyone involved in the creation of Disco Elysium. Three Detectives in a Trench Coat contains spoilers for Disco Elysium: The Final Cut. If you have not played the game, proceed with caution.
Disco Elysium is a game about sex, drugs, and disco, and politics, and violence, and drugs, and sometimes those drugs are used by children, and sometimes the violence is aimed at children, and generally is a game for 18s or over. Proceed with caution, as we will be discussing themes within the game.
This episode was recorded on the 3rd of December 2022. We present A Complex System of Nonsense.
How was the putting things together part of the
That's okay.
story?
Well, it's been good. Like, weirdly enough, just because in the first couple of episodes, it took us a while before we went, oh, we should probably sync up. So what I ended up doing was I ended up using the Good Luck Detectives as I used to sync them. Because that was just worked out easier. But no, and the stereo, the recording we did outside actually ended up turning up pretty well. So that's actually quite clean, which is quite nice.
Sorry, just a second. I thought
it's sounding good.
To double check something.
Well, it's sounding good from this end.
Okay,
I
was looking at it. It looked like there might be a different mic coming through. It's hard to tell.
It's
fine.
it's the one coming through Discord.
Fine, right? It's fine. Just a second. If the easy way to test this would be to turn my output down and then turn it back up again. So although that's not easy. You know, or
nobody's actually going to listen to
I'm
this.
so glad this IP record already.
I'm so sorry. Okay,
yeah,
let's
me too. This is some gold we're recording
I'm so sorry.
Some Jamesless material.
Oh my god.
Oh,
guys.
Oh,
that wasn't a dig.
I
That
see.
was just... I mean, you could absolutely interpret it as a dig.
Okay, well,
I guess while we're waiting, I can talk about a video I just watched about how.
Guys, I apologize. Can we move on? I'm now feeling embarrassed.
No, don't be. It's fine. It's okay.
You'll never know what that video was about now.
Just starting the episodes as chaotically as just there was a moment in the second episode where there's just a point where I just lean into the mic and go, two of the hosts are now Googling something. Just the whole Thunderbirds discussion.
Yeah. Oh god, the whole Thunderbirds.
Which is, I feel like we're still culturally recovering from.
I had forgotten about that. They say after a trauma you're supposed to play video games. Unfortunately, this is all conversations that are happening before we play video games, so it's all working out quite well.
So you gotta get the peak embarrassment out before Disco Elysium starts, and then you can.
Please tell me, James, you're recording.
Yes. I'm still recording.
Yes. Oh, fantastic.
Comedy gold.
Oh, that was a good bit. Good bit, everyone.
Good bit. Just an applause track under here, and now it stops abruptly, and now there's a drum roll, and now a fart sound, and now booing.
Okay. Which one of us is putting the sound effects together?
It's not gonna be me.
That's Ollie, I think.
I think it might be Ollie. Yeah.
I always do that. Whenever I start going on a train of sound effects in my head, it always ends in booing because it gets too meta too quickly, and you just got to nip that in the bud.
So this was David. Did you remember you listened to some of Curtis and Morris, I think, already, and Ollie was actually doing that. He would say something like, and now this happens, and why did I do that? I have to make this happen now.
Oh, I love that though. That was fantastic. Like it's that kind of sort of beginner's guide approach to sound design. That's as in the game, the beginner's guide.
I've not played that.
I don't know that.
Just that kind of like very explaining what I'm doing while I'm doing it kind of thing. I love that. I wish I could. I think the goal for me is to make something that kind of illustrates sound design like that. As cleanly and as charmingly as it is in Curtis and Morris. So since we're recording, I can now say go and listen to Curtis and Morris. I've forgotten the rest of the title.
Quick talking fun time adventures.
Thank you. Just because I'm on day 4 of a 5-day recording and my brain's a little mush. But it's very good. You should absolutely go and listen to it. It's a wonderful, charming podcast. And if you like listening to this show and you're kind of like, oh man, that dev fella talks a bit too much, I'm not in it. It's just these two wonderful people. So go listen to that. But not yet. Finish listening to this episode.
Oh.
Because what are people listening to? I don't think we've explained that yet.
Hello, you're listening to 3 Detectives in a Trench Coat, where us 3 detectives jump into the same trench coat and play Disco Elysium. And then talk about it. At the same time, but not together.
Yes.
Cooperative, collaborative play, where all of us are doing our own thing.
Imagine a simulcast, but without the playing part.
I love how we're 4 episodes into this and we still haven't come up with a concise way of explaining.
It's a complex system of nonsense that we've come up with.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so look, Disco Elysium is a game with layers, as is this podcast.
Three detectives in a trench coat. Three detectives in a trench coat. Oh, so what are we going to get up to this week? This is the question that I have, because I chatted to Kim, I had a cigarette, and now I'm tempted to go sit on a bench and do a bunch of drugs on my own, or see if there's anything I can do, like while Kim is away, the mice can play.
Is the next day we're not going to get any Kim?
Well, no, you get Kim the next day. But the point is that we have this golden time between Kim going to bed and us going to bed.
Oh, okay. Oh no, I already went to bed.
Oh, okay.
This is the thing. I went way too far. I'm already on the next morning.
Oh, fair enough. So you saw the thing.
I did see the thing.
There's a thing?
So there's a thing. See, this was the thing I was trying not to talk about in the last one, but yes, there is a thing, and I found it very interesting. But we can talk about that after you guys.
Okay, now I know what
after
I
James
want
has
to do.
seen
I
it
want to
specifically.
experience the thing. I had a whole bunch of things I wanted to explore before going to bed, and now I'm like, ooh, no, the thing is going to happen.
Well, you probably still can. I don't know.
I had the cigarette at exactly 9 o'clock because I was feeling a bit worried in game because I was worried about. Is it 9 o'clock that the cut-off time to pay off the landlord of the hotel, and I was like, I don't know how that works yet because I keep going back and he's not taking the money from me. Have I paid for tonight already? It's hard to tell. But yes, so I had this. So I went back to the room at exactly 9 o'clock, and the cigarette thing happened. I was like, great, but there's so much more to do that I saw earlier in the game. I think I talked about this in the last episode, that I'm looking forward to playing. I did not notice until kind of reviewing the game that I'd played so far that there was a main witness smoking a cigarette on top next to the hanging victim that I had not seen and did not realize I could talk to.
Wait, what?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
There's a witness?
There's a guy, well, maybe not a witness, there's a guy smoking a cigarette next to where the hangings happen. Sorry to spoil that if you didn't. But I hadn't noticed
it's okay. It's just,
until I was looking through.
I don't have a goal because it's been, how long has it been since we last had a session? Like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
Yeah, I'm very much just like, I'm going to open up my book and pick a direction and
yeah, I think that's the other thing. We need to refamiliarize ourselves. I mean, Ollie maybe doesn't as much because they've played it before and they've got a very good memory for. Well,
I was genuinely thinking I might throw a curveball and just like play the beginner's guide this week. Like play a completely different game and then just go, oh yeah, I played Disco for 2 hours. It's
oh damn, that's such a good idea for an episode.
Just bring a completely different energy to the discussion at the end.
Just been like, between you and me, listeners.
So that sounds like have the title
between
of
you and me. I've been playing Rashomon this entire time. I've been learning about the secrets of Japanese cinema. I don't know why that's what I was doing. Ignore this bit.
Are you talking to the listener or are you talking to yourself in the future when you're editing this?
Ollie, it's just you and me now.
This is going to be a very short intro this week. So what is everyone's goals? Do we have goals this week?
Well, we're going back to the old format of We play for 2 hours, we see where we're at, or we play for an hour and we see where. How long are we going to play for?
Well, I think we normally do 2 hours, but I don't know if that's.
I think
we can do an hour and a half. What are we thinking?
I'd like 2 hours. I really get into this game, and I feel like we've got a lot of game. I don't know, Ollie. Do we have a lot of game left to play? The first day.
So the case starts on a Monday and it ends on a Friday, and we're on Tuesday.
Oh wow!
Well, we're about to go into Tuesday.
Yeah, we're about to go into Tuesday. There's a whole third of the map that hasn't been unlocked yet, and won't be unlocked till Wednesday.
Okay, so that's a good timeline. So I feel like we can spend an extra half an hour of playtime. Is what I'm saying.
I might try and speedrun Tuesday. Yeah. I think that's my goal. My goal is to speedrun Tuesday. I hope to be finished by Tuesday by the end of the session.
Oh wow! That is a big challenge.
But doesn't that mean that you'll be sitting around with like kind of twiddling your thumbs the next couple of sessions because we're like still? Like,
no. There's
I might
stuff.
not go to sleep in this game session.
Oh god!
No, because
that's when we get onto the meta game at the end of this podcast, which is I've finished playing it and have moved on to like Banner Saga.
Oh wow! Is this? So we're just gonna have 3 different timelines on the go.
No, don't split the party. No one likes it when you split the party.
Don't split the party. Okay.
I do like the idea of Ollie being ahead, so every week Ollie's just like, well, today I'm just going to clip my bonsai trees while the other 2 play games.
Well, that's the other thing. That's one of the things I was really excited about this particular experience, because I've never played it, but Ollie has. There's a podcast, a Pride and Prejudice themed podcast. I can't remember what it's called. I'll try and find out later. But where the person who has read all the books that is reading it at the same time as the person who's never read any of the books and then asks her leading questions. And it's really quite entertaining for people who read all of Jane Austen, who like to think they've read all of Jane Austen, like myself, who hasn't. I think Ollie's position of being able to ask us interesting questions is a really powerful one and a kind of potentially really entertaining one of like for people who have played Disco Elysium before and listening to us playing through for the first time, asking us delicious questions that will tease out things that we don't know. Like, what should our opinion of this person or this context be yet? Like, what is your opinion of the strikers? Oh, well, the strikers are important for this reason. I didn't tell you that they're all pirates. Like that kind of reveal that we haven't got there yet, but Ollie knows is coming. And so Ollie can force us to look stupid in a really entertaining way.
Yes. I am nothing but a mirth maker.
And on that note of being embarrassed in an entertaining way, should we jump into
Let's
it?
jump in.
Amazing. Right, I'll catch you in a couple of hours. Good luck, detectives.
Good luck, detectives. FAB. Boom. Oh no.
No, that's Captain Scarlet, isn't it? No, we're not having this discussion. We're done. I'm muting now.
Hello, it's me, Oliver Morris, on a bright sunny spring day in 2024. Just to let you know that you can listen to if you subscribe to our Patreon. You can also listen to the jingles that we made. We'll have bonus episodes, some sort of behind the scenes content, things like that. And you'll be supporting the show, which means that all you'll get is this annoying ad rather than an annoying ad for dentistry or Brill cream or anything else that you can think of. So yeah, that's all. Enjoy the show. That's about it.
Something like that. Oh,
I ended up going completely off-piste.
Amazing.
Really? This game took you to places you didn't expect? Fascinating.
Yeah, right. So what started out... So I was on my way to do an objective, right? Because I spent the first 2 hours in game time. I was incredibly productive. I spoke to the Hardy Boys. I got some really interesting information out of them. I I got a load of leads. I had a very successful conversation with them, and then I spoke to a racist lorry driver that also gave me a lead about the drug smuggling thing. So I sort of thought, right, well, you know what? I'll go investigate the leads down by the canal. So I start heading towards the canal, and then I sort of thought, and then I spoke to Annette outside the bookshop, and Annette said, you know, she knows about a big fridge that's in the basement of the bookshop, but she's not allowed to go down there. So I thought, right, well, tell you what, I'll go speak to the proprietor of this bookshop and maybe we can sort something out. And that's when the madness began.
Yes, I've done that quest. Yes.
It was just...
Keep going.
Oh, my word. And then I nearly died doing this quest twice for... some very silly things. So first of all, I found the iron curtain thing, kept knocking on it to the point where I actually hurt myself, and then I kicked the furnace and nearly died.
Yes,
was that the thing that killed you as well?
That was what I kicked. That was the thing that caused me to die. I said, yeah, okay.
It's not just me kicking a furnace. Like, goddamn.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, you see it. Like, it says it had this 6 options. And the last one's kick it. And it doesn't feel like it's going to be a dangerous option.
Well, because the thing is, so basically, I failed the shouting check to shout up because I heard voices up there. So there's something going on. Like, this whole idea of the radio call-in role-playing game, which is very funny considering that the goblet wire now exists.
Yeah,
that's
but
true.
like just kind of reading about it and kind of going, this is so interesting. There's such a like weird meta-textual thing going on here where like it's talking about game design, but video games don't exist in this world, so they're trying to come up with the idea of a video. Somebody in this game has come up with the idea of a video game, of an RPG, and is trying to make it. And it just, oh man, there was so much going on. And then I turned the ice cream machine off because there's a mainframe. There's a thing hidden in there that I need to put in the computer. But the fact that they're like, oh yeah, Kuno might steal it, being like, these people are still here. This is still a thing that is going on. This is still, like, I think the people who are designing this game hide behind the metal thing, and then they're still making this game. I also spoke to a 76-year-old woman who's surrounded by radio terminals and just speaks to people all day as like a login attempt. So she's basically the Chinese room, which is so very strange. She's basically this personified idea of the Chinese room, which is so interesting to find in a video game. And oh man, yeah, like oh. I had such a good playthrough. I didn't do anything useful. I did find a fridge. That's the important thing. But I did actually do quite a few objectives. But like, oh man, I had a plan and I went just off the rail. I went off-piste. I ended up going to places I wasn't expecting, and the game just opened up in a way I was not expecting. I had a fantastic time this time around.
It's kind of amazing that section, because it's sort of the most meta the game gets, I think, because it's basically the guy who writes it going, fuck, what are we doing? What are we doing, guys? How have we managed to do this? Why? What? So I really, really love that bit. And yeah, I mean, you still haven't discovered all the things that there are to discover in that building.
No, well, that's the thing. I didn't get behind the sort of steel curtain. I found the furnace and I heard people talking. So I'm just like, there is definitely like. There is something here, like I need to, like, yeah, oh man, like this, as much as like, yes, we definitely need to investigate this murder that is going on, like I also want to work out what's going on here.
That's fun.
GG, Dave.
Well done.
Yeah, I had a good GG.
How was your playthrough, James?
I mean, one thing I'm really pleased about is technically, I think you might have done this as well, Dev, but technically I solved the murder, which is kind of cool. I mean, maybe I haven't, because it's like a conversation with the Hardy Boys, right? They have this kind of thing of like, yeah, we did it. And it's like, did you? I don't know yet. But you might have. Sorry if that was a spoiler. You mentioned you talked to the Hardy Boys, and I think it came quite naturally in the conversation. I don't think I passed a check or anything.
Well, you chat to their boss after you if you chat to Everard Clare after
I haven't met Everard Clare yet.
Oh god!
Oh my god!
I haven't managed to get past Measurehead. It would be very easy of conceptualization to say yes, internalize race theory.
Yes, you had the same dilemma I did. Yes.
I don't want to, and I haven't figured out how to.
So, have you got your cloak?
No, I've not been. I failed the first check, and I haven't. I did in this game. Actually, I did have a breakthrough in this game. I did put my first skill point into something.
Yeah. So I once again had my reactive skill point approach. So what was your first skill point?
So during the Hardy Boys conversation, at some point I was like, wouldn't it have been great if we'd, if you'd been able to assess the crime scene? I was like, actually, I do recognise that. This feels like an important plot point, and that wasn't actually a very hard skill to pass. So if I put a point in, I'll probably succeed in them. And so I went back and looked at the footprints again after putting a point in visual calculus, and I passed that check. But then I failed the also fairly easy check with the gates or fence posts or something. So I still don't know about that one, but it was enough for me to be able to go and have a more interesting conversation with the Hardy Boys. Did anyone else get a catty Kim the morning in the beginning of the morning?
No,
What do you mean a catty Kim?
Well, he says something. It's like we should go and talk to the Hardy Boys because of all the leads that point. And he looks at the information he has. Like, actually, we don't have many leads. We should have done better yesterday.
Oh no, I didn't get that at all.
That's why. So it's the thing. Like when I said that, I think when I've been saying how I feel like I'm not quite understanding a lot of the game, I think it's because of stuff like that. Like I feel like I am not, like I'm failing checks or missing something in terms of accessing, because I'm getting Kim saying I haven't progressed fast enough, which is terrifying. But I also don't know what to do next.
Oh wow, I didn't even consider that. No, because I had an interesting tidbit where I can't remember what the conversation was, but Kim was basically like, "Well, yeah, sorry, I didn't sleep. I had a rough night last night," which I thought was also interesting because it's like, okay, something's going on with Kim. So that's really interesting that he's kind of like, oh, we're doing a bit of a terrible job. I mean, he spent most of the day going, yeah, we should probably, find a fridge because that body's getting worse by the minute.
That's the other thing. I haven't been able to do the autopsy yet because I still haven't been able to take the body down.
Oh my god! Oh no!
There's so much I haven't done yet. I hadn't been able to investigate the crime scene. I haven't been able to talk to the witness. I haven't been able to hadn't been able to take the body down. So there's very little of the actual murder investigation I've been able to progress with. Because I keep failing checks.
That's incredible.
So
I don't know what to do because getting the body off the train, I'm thinking there's a 7% chance right now. If I invest a skill point, that's still going to be less than 50% chance. So it's a bit like, what the hell? What do I do? How do I progress in this game?
Sometimes you've got to go internalize some race theory
or stuff like that. Yeah, I guess.
Or kung fu kick a guy.
I've got like all my points in intellectualism. Oh, but one thing I did pass, I was really happy with because I found the jacket which gives me an extra conceptualization point, and so I was able to retry the mural on the building.
Oh, okay.
And it inspires the character, who we both know the names of the character, right?
Do we all know now?
I know.
I sort of Everard Clare, I think, gave me.
Well, I learned from Everard.
I learned from the sleep.
Oh, what's your name?
Okay.
Yeah, we get told. So, did you? Okay, wait. I need to go over this. What happened when you fell asleep?
What are you calling your character? Let's be cautious. What do you call your character?
I call it Harry.
Yeah.
Harry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
I think we can finally, at episode 4, reveal that our protagonist's name is Harry.
We probably should put some sort of spoiler warning on the beginning of these.
I feel like the game,
episodes,
like the whole podcast, is a bit of a spoil. I think we have a disclaimer at the start of every episode.
We will absolutely need to do that because it's very much we're playing through the game and then discussing what happens in the game.
We can absolutely do the spoiler warning in the style of the game.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's definitely someone has built an AI voice. There's so much voice in this game that people have built a Kim simulator and an internal voice simulator.
Oh wow! Okay,
That's
that's
kinda
probably
cool.
highly illegal.
But we should definitely
It's
use
not
it.
great,
Right?
but it is possible.
But we should use it for our purposes.
No, I mean, I think we could do something in the style of. Aren't you curious to do your own reptilian brain voice?
Oh, I probably.
Well, the voice actors, we could probably ask.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! That is an interesting idea. We should.
I love how this podcast is getting exponentially more expensive.
Yep. Yep.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess. I don't know.
And you can help us along with that by supporting us on Ko-fi.
Okay,
This doesn't exist.
so Ollie, tell us about your
Yes.
playthrough. Tell us about your podcast.
Well-
Tell us about your playthrough.
Well, in my playthrough, I listened to The Lightning Bottler, a fascinating podcast about the... Anyway, so it was like, all right, it's time to go to bed. And then I went, wait, no, it's not time to go to bed. It's time to go hassle people for drugs. So I went around, and Joyce gives you the quest of go find out what's the drug business. And I thought, I'm probably going to shake some motherfuckers down without Kim. So I shook down a bunch of motherfuckers without Kim.
Oh wow!
This is
And
such a different
then
experience.
I went to the pawn shop where the guy who runs the pawn shop was he's a fucking G, by the way, because he was part of the people's he took part in the people's reactor where a bunch of citizens got together and built their own nuclear reactor because they couldn't get any energy from the city
Oh
government.
my god!
That's really cool. That's really cool.
And it
yeah.
exploded. And so what he did was he was part of the cleanup operation.
Wow!
And so he got irradiated to hell. But what that means is that he gets given a drug which kind of helps with the radiation, but mostly helps with you seeing psychedelic colors. So I got some of that off him, sat on a bench, did all the drugs, had a bunch of thoughts. In fact, I'm going to show you how many thoughts I have kicking around in my head right now, because I just took a screenshot of it.
Oh, here we go.
And
Perfect podcast
I'll run
content.
through some. I'll run through some of the nonsense that I have accumulated.
Oh my!
That is
Oh
a
my
lot
Christ.
of
I've
skills.
only got 3 buttons left. So I've got The Lonesome Long Way Home, Some Kind of Superstar, The Masdovian Socioeconomics, Indirect Modes of Taxation. I love that I have both of these in my head at once. It makes me feel like James. Magnesium-based life form, the Jamrock Shuffle, and actually the Jamrock Shuffle and the 15th Indo Tribe. They're both things about his past.
Ooh, okay.
So the Jamrock Shuffle is what kids used to go into the sewers in Jamrock and like open up crates and stuff to find like whatever they could find. You know, they were hoping to find treasure, but usually it was like used needles. And then the 15th Indo Tribe gets you 10 cents every time you click on a green icon.
Oh yes, I remember.
Oh,
You
yeah,
telling me
I
this.
have that one. I'm so pleased.
And it's lovely because it's basically it's like, yeah, this is your Indo Tribe. You were, you know, a kid living rough, and you did the thing. And that combined with the fact that I just figured out that he solved 200 cases, super sick. He's a really good cop. I got a really good cop on my hands. The most hilarious thing the most interesting thing for me this session is I managed to do something I've never done in a playthrough before, which is my shivers were high enough to pass a really hard check when I was investigating the ledger. So I got the ledger
Okay.
out of the bin and was sitting on top of a rooftop reading it, as you do. And I took the note out, the one that you read that makes you pass out.
Yes, the one that killed me in the last playthrough.
The one that killed you in the last playthrough.
Yes.
And Shivers
Hey,
just
don't
said...
laugh. Mister died 3 times already.
It's just sorry. No, I do
You
find it funny.
kicked
I'm
a
not-
thing and
I
died.
kicked a thing that died. This game
That's
kills
worse.
you so
I would
readily.
argue that's worse.
I think here's the thing though. I think I actually did read that note at some point and lose health. So yeah, don't worry about it.
So I'm holding on to this note, and it just says, "Let go," in a voice that wasn't the like inside of your head voice.
Oh.
A female voice said, "Let it go."
Oh my.
Oh, wow.
So I let it go. And it flew off into the wind.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it's gone now. And then I said, "What's gone?" And it said, "Ah, you fool! Caustic echo." So now I've got this thought that I'm currently thinking about, which is, why did I throw that thing away? Which is not what I should do. What I should do is have thrown it away and never thought about it again. Because that would have completely changed the gameplay. But now, so instead of the folder of, what, you guys have like the what's it, of disappointment, is it? The ledger of disappointment?
How do you mean? As in, like, the thought?
The actual ledger you have becomes an object that you can, like, use.
I can still interact with it. I don't know if I can use... Oh, no, I think I use it for police work, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called. I don't know the name of it.
It's either the ledger of disappointment, but I have the ledger of oblivion.
Oh,
nice.
My word.
Wow. Plus 1 to volition, plus 1 to authority, minus 1 to inland empire.
Ooh, okay.
So I'm rocking at the moment.
I love how even though you're going for an absolutely chaotic run, and you're doing the thing where you're trying to solve the case without actually inspecting the body, which I think is fantastic, by the way. I love that you're still finding things that you've not discovered before.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fantastic. That's really interesting.
It's one of the wonderful things about this game is that, yeah, you can just sort of play through it and have a different experience.
One thing I just realized, because I was looking at... I won an achievement in this gameplay. The world's most laughable centrist. Defend the political center 7 times. And
Yep.
I'm really proud of that, because I was saying, like, in the past episode, it's hard to be a forthright centrist in this game, but I seem to have made it work.
So
I'm very happy.
I got 2 achievements this play.
Oh, nice.
The first one was goodest of the good cops.
Yes.
Which is when you get Kim to trust you. And I also got biggest communism builder, employ critical theory 9 times.
Yep.
Oh, interesting.
I first unlocked that achievement on the 10th of May, 2020.
Oh, marvelous. Also, I've said 10 traditionalist things, apparently.
Oh, interesting.
Also, I love how there's an achievement called Unbelievably Boring Fuck, which is say 7 incredibly boring things. I want this achievement. That's my goal for the next playthrough, is to get Unbelievably Boring Fuck.
Oh.
I just got Hyperstellar Law Officer, which is say 7 deranged superstar lines. So actually, you were gonna so on the topic of traditionalism, I guess. You were having some interesting thoughts about Scotland and Revachol and independence.
Yes. So I talked about this in my notes, but I've probably said it better in the notes while I was recording. But so basically, there was the interaction with the racist lorry driver and Kim was like,
"Don't you welcome to Revachol me, you
exactly,
fuck."
Fantastic, amazing.
Excellent,
like
yes.
I was there clapping, going, "Go Kim, get his ass!" Yeah, it was this idea of it's people like you that are stopping Revachol from moving forward or achieving anything. And then there was a wonderful I think it was rhetoric, a rhetoric check that was a success. A very brief tangent. I love how a lot of the checks that you do that sort of happen in the background while you're reading things that sort of just appear. I love how they don't necessarily change the gameplay. They just change how the player interacts with the world, which I think is really interesting. I think that's a fantastic choice, that you have all these like skill checks coming in that don't affect your gameplay, but they affect how you the player think about what's just happened or what's just been said, or it gives you maybe like it leans you towards one particular action. I think that's a fantastic writing thing. I think it's a fantastic design thing as well. But yeah, so I got a rhetoric check that succeeded after that conversation, and it said fixation. I wrote it in the chat. Fixation on the Revacholian nation makes it harder for Revachol to actually attain self-determination. Now, I thought that was really interesting. Because for listeners that don't know, I live in Scotland. I live in Glasgow, and at the moment in 2022, there is a lot of discussion around independence. We very much seem to be gearing up for another independence referendum. And it was interesting. That conversation was interesting to me because you can kind of broadly divide the independence movement in Scotland into two camps. And there are people who will know more about this than me, and I want to kind of, put a little thing at the top here being like, this is just sort of my experience. I'm not an expert on these matters. And yeah, like, I don't know as much about this as I'd like. But yeah, so in my experience, you can kind of broadly divide it into sort of these two very big camps where you have one side which wants to kind of build a new nation based on values of social justice, kind of the more sort of left-leaning side of the more sort of socialist side of the Scottish National Party, which, we have free prescriptions here in Scotland. You don't pay, if you're from Scotland, you don't pay university tuition fees if you go to a Scottish university. So it's there's lots of things like that, and as much as there's this discussion to be had about where the money comes from, those it's the how it relates to independence is that, well, let's build a nation, an independent Scotland based on these values, this kind of very sort of these very social justice, very socialist values. But then you have the other side of it that is just good old-fashioned nationalism, like they hate the English, not necessarily Westminster. They just hate English people are the problem. There was a joke in 2014 with the independence referendum that I think I've probably told the two of you, is that if Scotland does get independence, Edinburgh is going to have to be partitioned like East and West Berlin, because it's
Yes,
the joke is that Edinburgh is what English people think Scotland is like. And it's interesting, you've got these two movements whose goal is the same thing, but because there is so much infighting about what happens after independence happens, that it weakens the drive for independence in the first place. Because we're so busy trying to we're spending so much time arguing about what an independent Scotland looks like. It makes it harder for Scotland to become independent in the first place, if that makes sense.
I mean, neither Ollie or I would be very wise to comment on our opinions on Scottish independence.
I'll dive in.
All right, go on.
I'll dive in. I mean, I have family from Scotland. I've never. I was about to say I've never been to Scotland, but I've heard enough Billy Connolly tapes to try an accent. Not in front of actual Scottish people, but just in theory. And I feel like that puts me in a really good position to talk about the Scottish independence movement, which is to say, it's none of my business, frankly.
Oh, wonderful! Oh.
But thank you for. I just remembered seeing that in the chat pop up, and I was like, I'd be interested to hear about that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is not the place to get into the ins and outs of it, but it was that particular sentence about fixation on the Reversholean nation makes it harder for Reversholt to actually attain self-determination really kind of struck a chord. And something else I say in the note is that I think this, one of the things I really like about this game is that I think it kind of is very good at calling you out on your assumptions or your specifically your view of the world, no matter what, how you left, right, however you view the world, however you view how things should be or how things should be run. I feel like it's constantly challenging that. And because I spent my morning in this game reading the magazine. I can't remember what it was. The one with the king on the front with the horns.
Oh yes, the socialist magazine.
Yes, the communist socialist magazine that basically was that was essentially like a commentary on socialist writing and socialist magazines and book presses and things, and I thought that was really interesting and really, really good. As a person who is subscribed to the Left Book Club, I absolutely saw what I was doing, and I just really like how this game challenges you all the time on very deeply held things, but in a way that doesn't feel like it's kind of beating you over the head, being like, this is how things should be. It's more just, are you sure this is what you actually think, or why do you think this? Even when you come, and how do you defend how you think when it comes up against a very well-made argument against it? I think that's interesting. That's a really interesting. Sorry, I'm very aware I've kind of hijacked the post-game analysis.
No, it's very interesting. I mean, one of the reasons I'm kind of not commenting is because I'm trying to do a bit of an apolitical run this run, and you know I have Masdodian socioeconomics in my back pocket, but I also have centrist economics in my back pocket, and I am abusing both of them to get to my ends of who killed this guy, you know? I'm being the copyist cop about it in as much as, you know, I am sort of aware of the politics, but I'm using them in a sort of wholly, like, you know, I'm not touching fascism, but, you know, I'm using them in the sort of wholly utilitarian way, basically.
Yeah, being very pragmatic.
Yes, exactly. Which is how I will end up getting the boringest boring cop in the whole world. One of the things that this game does, and there's arguments, because I have a friend who's into the sort of Myers-Briggs personality test, and has introduced me to the Enneagram test, which is like even worse. But they're like, you know, they're really into their sort of you know, kind of these tests that figure out your personality. I think that Disco Elysium, at some level, is just a 20-hour-long personality test. Yeah. It really just tests your values. It really kind of just makes you sit down and go, okay, so what do you believe? And we're not even into like the stakes yet. Yeah. Like we are bumblefucking around with corpses and you know, bookshops and whatnot. We haven't had to. I don't know if you guys have found in the front of your ledger you've got like a little holographic sticker.
No, I noticed that there was a thing on the pause menu that says you need to find this.
So actually, no, I did find that because yeah, there's a second opportunity to look at that under another condition.
Oh, okay.
So the holographic sticker, you don't see it first in the light. To give you a slight clue, in the light in the room where you in the courtyard where you find it, you find it in the trash can, don't you? The trash disposal. So you can't see it there, but you can see it in another lighting condition.
Ooh, I'll do that next time.
Yeah, ask him about it.
Yeah.
It's one of those. But it kind of reveals something about Harry, and it reveals something about, you know who he is as a cop. And it kind of informs the gameplay style. It really informed it for me a bit. It's the first time I've sort of sat there and gone, you know what, maybe Harry's one of the good ones. And then he'll do something like lasciviously chat up Sylvie, the woman who reported the crime, and you're like, oh, wait, maybe I'm wrong. I had a terrible phone call. I tried chatting up Alice and then chatting up Sylvie, and it was just
wow. But I think that's
just failed both checks. It was hilarious.
That is actually something which I'm finding odd about this game, or maybe kind of a combination of interesting and uncomfortable, is that one of the ways this game makes you question yourselves and who you are as a person is that the game is easier to progress if you fall into yourself, if you try to win it without thinking of the consequences of the opinions you're having or the actions you're taking, right? So, as an example, it would be very easy for me to get past Measurehead by saying, yes, I agree with your racist politics. And, like, you kind of, for me, because I've got more points in conceptualization than anything else, there's a 97% test against that check. I would definitely pass that one. But David mentioned there was another way of doing it. And if David hadn't mentioned there was another way of doing it, I probably would have just said, okay. But I don't, but it's odd because it's going to test yourself against the opportunities of just try to win the game as fast as possible or as efficiently as possible, which is kind of annoying because it kind of, hey, you want to play a game? Here's how you do it, but you'll have to break who you are as a person.
Yeah. How far are you willing to go to solve this case? Are you willing to compromise your morality?
If I had known this, I'd have put my points into strength, because I wouldn't mind beating up this racist. I don't want to lie to him about
Beefy James run.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, also, like, a lot of gaming is a bit about fantasy, and that would be a fantasy.
We haven't talked about it yet, but the dream.
Yes. Oh, we should spend a lot of time talking about the dream, I think.
Disco ball, hanging detectives.
I genuinely gasped when I walked out into the yard. Like, I genuinely went, oh my God. Like, it was, oh my goodness. It was quite harrowing. I was just like, I was not expecting that to happen. And then, like, to actually speak, for Harry to speak with their inner demons, it was quite... It very humanized the character and made you feel very deeply for the character that you're playing.
I remember in my playthrough this time, there's a bit where it goes, "You were born in nothing, Harry," and it's like, I was born in a hospital where people go to die, and he says, "Don't you bullshit me? You don't remember." I was like, "Oh fuck, all right."
I like how even that's different. Yeah, like even that is different depending.
Although there is something about that, because so that dialogue scene, there were 6 options. And I remember that there were 6 options, because I was like, okay, let's work through them. And then after the 4th option, it's like, you wake now. I'm like, oh. I should have thought about which order I was going to ask these questions in.
Well, yeah, that's the thing about Disco Elysium. If you exhaust... This was brought up in a video by Sophie from Mars, who's a wonderful YouTuber.
Yes, fantastic YouTuber.
Who I really highly recommend you watch. There's a handful of really good Disco Elysium sort of think pieces that are out there. Hers is notable because at every opportunity she will scream, "Harry, you goddamn piece of shit!" But she kind of points out that there are things you can do which sort of, if you play the game as a game, you can just make your choices completely fucking useless, completely facile. Like, for example, a really good example is the post box. You can pet the post box and gain a point of health back, or you can kick the post box and lose a point of health. And depending on what order you do it in, if you kick it then pat it, you come up with some zero. It's like, make an option, make a choice,
Yeah.
And the game doesn't sort of give you a timer or anything to sort of go, this choice is important and time sensitive. But there will be times when you're like, oh God, how do I can ask one question, or I can do one thing, and I have to really give a shit about which option I'm choosing here.
I did have that moment in this game.
Nice.
I spoke to, I can't remember the name of the lady in the wheelchair. Lena?
Oh, yes.
So she, we almost began a really long conversation about cryptids. Because you talk, and she gives you a quest to find someone. So I don't know what the game is obsessed. Why the game's obsessed with missing husbands? But I came across 2 potential quest points for missing husband searches. But the second, the first one was with Lena, and I was like, I was really happy with the "if I find them, I'll talk to him" option. That was like, okay, cool. Thanks for giving me the option game. But I love the second one, which is going back to the bookstore and talking to this woman outside. And she doesn't say anything. She just wants to read the book in peace. But Harry's like, "Have you lost your husband?" What? It's like, are you sure? Because I can find it for you. Like, I don't know why the detective wants to do this. If not your husband, maybe your kids. And I was like, I don't want to be finding this person's husband. I've got a murder to solve. But if I was in completionist mode, I would absolutely go and do that. Because that sounds like a really fun, random thing to pursue.
There was a wonderful, because I ended up taking on the find Lena, the cryptozoologist's wife, quest. And Kim was just like, yeah, we should get a weird fringe case to distract us from the vanilla murder case we're investigating. It was a very good line.
I think I know which bit you're talking about, James, with the what could be a very long conversation about cryptids, where it's like no, where Kit just cuts and it says no. You get one.
You get one. Yeah, I was like, okay, I'll ask my one question.
I am not sitting here listening to you talk about cryptids for the next 3 hours. You get one.
That's amazing. Oh.
Okay, we should wrap up. I think we should wrap up.
Yeah, it's getting late. I mean, not for the listener, maybe. Maybe the listener's all on the way to work. Who knows? Over here in recording time.
You're late for work!
Stop listening to this podcast and run! Even if you're on the train, run!
Open your eyes, Harry.
Open your eyes.
The light really hurts, doesn't it, Harry?
You're a wizard, Harry.
No, Harry.
Oh no, we've started a new bit, haven't we?
It's school picture day and you've forgotten your trousers, Harry. Walking around in your tighty whities.
Once we've all met Everard, I think we can have an extended conversation just about Everard.
I
had to send a meme to only Dev this week.
Oh no!
Man. I laughed
I really need to figure out how to get past Measurehead without, because that's the other thing. I find it very frustrating. Like, I don't know what to do next. Like, I don't have any plans for what next. Like, oh, okay, so everything feels locked up, but clearly there's more to do. Otherwise.
So you can retake checks if you upgrade skill points.
I know, but like almost all the checks I haven't retaken. I think all the checks I haven't taken, I feel like are legendary or above. Like the easiest one would be challenging. I think that's to find a better pair of glasses.
What's that man wearing on his head? What's he got draped around his neck? Where'd he get that awful silly coat from? It's time to do a drip check. Oh, I'm wearing the frog hat. That was my final bit I wanted to tell people.
Oh, I found an epic...
I went and bought the frog hat.
Oh, you bought the frog hat?
I found an epic mesh tank top.
Oh, yeah, that's a good hat. I'm wearing... Actually, I didn't take the same selfie that you guys took.
Oh, yeah, you didn't do a drip check, did you?
By
the way, like, listeners, like, Ollie's drip is... Oh man,
I'm out of this world at the moment.
What is this?
He's wearing like this crisp white jacket and like jeans.
I got a t-shirt of Heimdall underneath. I got a pair of jeans.
Yeah.
A savoir faire shoes.
Oh, you're taking
and a frog hat.
You're taking the electrochemistry route. With you.
I have 8 in electrochemistry right now.
Yeah,
those jeans. Yeah.
That's why I keep trying to chat people up.
Like my dude is a mess. My Harry has sunglasses. I think that's the best thing there. But the picture I sent through, he's also just holding this slightly
bag.
dirty plastic bag full of empty bottles. It's not a good look.
Yeah. I'm gonna share.
I think in mine I got to pick. Mine's with the pry bar, so I've got like the fucking the crowbar in my hand, like I'm ready for anything. Come on, Kim, let's crack some skulls.
Okay, what do we normally do to wrap these up? But yeah, I know. I think it's just a case of wrapping up. I think it's just a case of thanking the dear listeners for bearing with us.
You can follow us on you can
what?
subscribe to us on Patreon and
what?
No, not yet. Still haven't made a feed.
Come to the Do come to the 3 Detectives in a Trench Coat meetup. It's on this date at this time.
And be sure to get your tickets for the 3 Detectives in a Trench Coat live show. No idea how we're going to make that one work.
See you at the Christmas lunch, which will be in the past by this point.
Come to the 3 Detectives in a Trench Coat Island. It's
we'll be hosting
basically made it look like Revachol, so you can it's like an immersive theatre experience.
Yeah, we've commandeered an island just off of Skye to turn into a post-industrial wasteland.
Yeah. Britney Spears will be headlining.
We could have just gone to Glasgow, but
Hey now. I don't come to where you live.
What flick?
I would like to remind you, Ollie, we all have family in Scotland. Like, not people not as nearly, not just this.
Yeah,
but like, we are, like, but that does not give us the right.
Don't make me come down there.
No, not so
Please
soon.
don't make me come down there.
It's quite far and the train's long.
Also, it's December and this train strikes. Maybe the industrial
but
wasteland
here's the thing,
is already here.
Do you support the strikers at this point, or do you?
Of course I do. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Of course we do.
Like...
But like this game is kind of like exploring this concept, which is quite fun.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of I'm very much I'm supporting the train strikes, postal strikes. Like everyone deserves a fair wage to be able to live.
That's fair.
And so I was doing. You know what? We need to wrap this up.
Three detectives in a trench coat. Three detectives in a trench coat.
Thank you for listening to Three Detectives in a Trench Coat. The three detectives are James Curtis, Oliver Morris, and Amber Devereaux. The podcast is edited by Oliver Morris and Amber Devereaux with original music by Oliver Morris. To find out more about the detectives and some of their previous casework, check the show notes.
Thank you for listening. Love you. Bye.